Actually, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then we're live. We have to be quiet. Hello. We're here. We made it.
Here, hello, we made it.
All right. How are you, Sabrina?
I'm good. I'm good. Today has been a non-stop day of
Great.
live, but that's my daily, so I'm good.
This is 2021. This is what happens. It's all streaming and live. So, welcome back everybody to the 20-minute Event Prof Marketing Live. I am Jason Greenman, and I'm here with my partner in social media and digital crime, the one and only Sabrina Myers. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. We've been talking a little bit more strategically about what kind of social media to use. We've talked about hashtags. We talked about Clubhouse. We were going through all these statistics last week about social media and digital marketing. And today we want to do something fun, which is called, I think I've called it underrated, overrated. And basically, we're just going to go through and bring up a topic, spend 2 or 3 seconds or 30 seconds talking if we think it's overrated or underrated. Try to have some
Right.
fun. Give us your opinions in the comments about whether you think they're overrated or underrated as well. And I know, do you want to add something before we get to it, Sabrina?
Gosh, no. I mean, we love hearing from you. So drop your hellos, drop your comments, get involved. I'm super excited for this specific session because I've seen it done on like celebrity talk shows, and I've always wanted to be part of something like this. So let's do this, Jason. But
Let's
in the
see
space
how it
of
goes.
digital marketing and social media and some quirky additions as well. Just
All
want
right.
to put that out.
So let's get started, all right? I'm going to throw it up, and then I'll throw the first one to you, and then I'll give you my opinion, all right? So
All right.
let's go. All right, first up is LinkedIn. So, overrated, underrated?
So I'm going to go with the fact that I think LinkedIn is highly, highly underrated.
Boom. Nice.
Yes, I love that. I love that. I
And
think
why?
it's highly underrated because the potential, I think that there is a significant percentage of professionals that do not use LinkedIn to the ability and opportunity and possibilities that are available. And I think a lot of that is because of the perception that they have about the platform. I think, obviously it started off as a platform that was for recruitment. It was for finding jobs. It was for putting up your resume. People find you and they match it, right? So it was very recruitment. But it has evolved significantly in the last few years. And even I want to say in the last 2 years, where it has become a real platform for learning, for development, for building community and networking, and for just leveling up your online visibility and presence for yourself as well as for your business. So I think it's absolutely underrated.
All right. I am going to actually go with you there. I believe that it is totally underrated as well. There's not enough people that are doing LinkedIn. We need content creators. LinkedIn advertising as well is not being utilized. So we are both on. LinkedIn is totally underrated. So next one up. All right, let's go with Instagram.
Ooh. See, I mean, I have a lot of love for Instagram.
This is coming from the queen of Instagram. So
I have a lot of love for Instagram.
what we got? What do you got?
I think majority of people think in our industry, I think majority of people think that Instagram is overrated.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But people, professionals, Instagram is extremely underrated.
But all right. Yep. All right.
And to you, Jason.
I am going.
Can't be on the fence. You can't be on the fence.
No, there's no middle ground. Look, I just got into Instagram with the @EventDad, and I previously thought that it was overrated. I thought that it had been a bit late to get on board, but in the last, I don't know, it's been 2 or 3 weeks, and there's been a lot of growth. I've already connected with a lot of people, and if you utilize Instagram in the right way and you have a good strategy and you're providing value to your followers, I am 100% with you. I'm putting underrated as well. Like, dive into Instagram. This is where it's got to be. So, all right. Next up is pizza.
Ooh. It's a hard one, isn't it? You can't be on the fence about it either.
No,
I think,
no.
well, to me, I don't think particularly pizza is anything special. So I'm going to be a villain here and go with I think it's overrated.
I am totally
I
with
don't see.
Pizza is totally overrated. Totally overrated. There's pizza everywhere. I mean, like we have to be more innovative in the food industry about things that you can deliver to my house. Like why out of all the things that there are, why are we continually going back to pizza? I love pizza, but there's a much bigger world out there than just pizza. Am I right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Innovate, people. We need to
Innovate.
just foodies. And to all Italians out there, I'm really, really sorry.
Yeah.
But
This is nothing against Italians at all. This is
it's just the pizza.
we're just telling it how it is today. This is sorry, facts. Facts. Pizza is overrated. Next up. All right, we got the Facebook. Now, you and I are both guilty of probably not being on Facebook as much as some of the other platforms. So, you want to take a dive at this one first?
For me, Facebook is overrated.
Oh.
I know. It's probably not a popular opinion, but I do think Facebook and now hear me out, people. Facebook for business, like for marketing, event professionals, who we are speaking to and preaching to. I do think it's very overrated as a whole, as a platform.
Okay.
Purely because I like platforms that allow me to, how do I say this? Verify or validate, people that are following me and my audience.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that very hard to do on Facebook because people sign up personally as themselves. And I can't see then if they're event professionals or if they're, so it's very difficult for me to judge that.
Sure.
But as a community tool, it is definitely very, very good if you're using it specifically for the group's function. But as a platform in general, I don't use it that often unless it's for a specific reason. And so that's why I'm going to say it's overrated.
All right. I am going to go, I think this is the first time that we disagree on something. I think that Facebook is underrated. And and I'm a bit of a, let's see, not really following my word here, but I think it's underrated only because, like we saw last week and through the statistics, it's still by far the number one platform on social media with number of users. There's a huge audience on Facebook, huge scope, and especially in a demographic that is relative to our audience and events, which is that kind of 30 to 50-year-old age group. There's still a lot of us who started out on Facebook. We still have an account on Facebook. We may not use it, but it's there. And then on top of that, some of the streaming features and the community features that you spoke about, we're not utilizing them enough. We're going with the kind of new sexy tools and the shiny objects out there, whereas Facebook, I am guilty. I need to spend more time. I think it's underrated, and I should probably be investing more time there. So
now we've got someone in the audience, Christy. She's watching it on Facebook now. So I mean, we've just been busted. Right. So clearly, it's underrated because we can get our audience and reach them on Facebook. So
that's right. That's right.
I'm still going to sit on this overrated fence for as long as I can till I get educated, and then I will switch sides.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on. So next one, Pinterest. What do you got for Pinterest? This is the quiet network in the corner that nobody's paying attention to.
I tell you what, guys, for marketing, it's the silent killer. It's like it, as in a good way. Yeah, it is underrated.
The good killer.
It's a good killer. It is so. It's like those stealth ninjas. When it comes to marketing, Pinterest is a stealth ninja. Like you don't see it. It's there.
It's like creeping around in the background.
And then all of a sudden, all the bad guys are dead. Because how did they do it? I don't understand how they did it. That is Pinterest people.
Yeah.
That is Pinterest. It is the ninja. It's your secret weapon of marketing because it is an incredible platform that is probably one of the most searchable in terms of content that you're putting up onto the internet in general, because it is linked very, very closely with its best friend, Google. So if you put content on Pinterest, it can do a lot in terms of your scope and your reach for your content and your marketing efforts. So I'm definitely going to go with underrated because I don't think it's used nearly enough by any of us in the event cost industry.
Underrated. I'm right there with you. I think it is. I'm going to throw up the underrated as well. Wait, I can't get this right. I'll get it eventually. This is going to take some practice, Sabrina.
Look at me. I've positioned myself so I can just go.
You're doing great. You're doing great for the first round. So Pinterest, I'm right with you. It's one I don't use. I think the nice thing about Pinterest, especially in our industry, is that there's not a lot of competition and there's not as much noise. Like right now on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, there's a lot of us that are producing content and there's not many of us on Facebook. So I think there's a really good opportunity there to be a leader in the content creator on Pinterest for the events industry. And like you said, how many times do you search for something on Google? And Pinterest is one of the first results. So in terms of the search engine optimization, it's a fantastic tool. So I am right there with you with the underrated. All right, next one. New Year's Eve.
Oh, overrated.
Okay, yeah, we can pass this one.
Overrated.
Totally with you on that one.
So overrated.
It is
I think I'm at the age
overrated
as well where it's just I'm done with celebrating a new year. It's not a Corona thing, people. At some point, you're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna pop a bottle of champagne, have it by myself on my couch, and chill.
Relax.
And I live in a country where for about 5 hours there's fireworks. It is not fun. It's fun for the first 10 minutes, everyone. And then it's just, I'm done. Okay. So, I think New Year's is just a glorified dinner party, to be honest.
I'm with you. I'm with overrated. I think, and on top of that, let's not forget that if you do want to go and do something on New Year's Eve, it is insanely expensive. You know, going to a restaurant or anything, like you pay for celebrating a new year. Just do it on the 3rd of January, you know?
It's true. Do it in the first 2 weeks of January. You literally will save 80% of your money.
You can party twice as much. So I'm with you. It is totally overrated. All right, next up, YouTube. YouTube.
So, a lot of people have, I think it's one of these platforms, and it is a social media platform. I do want to define that and make that very clear to everyone. YouTube is a social media platform. A lot of people think that it's not, but it is. Yeah, it is actually one of it's number 2, right? Under Facebook.
I believe it's number 2.
It's number 2 for a social media platform in terms of how many people are on it and how many people use it. And I mean, obviously, each of us uses it. I think YouTube is severely underrated, even though it's been around for a long time and we all use it on a daily basis. I think it is definitely an underrated social media platform.
I think it is severely underrated. I think that we've gotten sidetracked by some of the other social media platforms, and I mean, when somebody is trying to, what do people use the internet for mostly? It's looking for information. And so you either do that on Google, and usually the second destination to look for information is YouTube. And I do not see enough of us creating content on YouTube, answering questions that people have. I think it is severely, severely underrated. The number of people who use video, who watch video, it's just increasing every single year. And even though YouTube is probably one of the oldest social media networks that there are, it is still severely, severely underrated.
Absolutely. And your content lives on there for a minimum of 5 years, people. Yep. So if you're putting any kind of content on there that's marketing, A, think it's going to have this long shelf life, and B, be very careful what you're putting on there, because the person that you are going to be in 5 years might not be the person that you are right now. This is my top tip. Okay. So I'm just going to put that out there into the universe.
Hit record, but be careful. All right. Next up, podcasts.
Ooh. You've seen a lot of, look, I actually used to think that podcasts were overrated. Mm-hmm. I did used to think this. Yep. But in the last 12 months, I have changed my mind significantly to it being completely underrated. And it's completely underrated a medium to deliver content. I think that there's so much potential out there for so much incredible voice content. And you know me, Jason. I'm saying that voice and video are the future, and
Yep.
podcasts are voice. So
Absolutely. Yep. I'm going to go with you there. I think I am going to agree with you on the underratedness of podcasts for a couple reasons, slightly different from yours. Number one is it's a fantastic place to create content, pillar content. So like long form content, and it's so easy. I mean, in my case, if you're able, you can do things like interviewing somebody, and that can become a long form piece of pillar content. Sometimes it's easier than writing a blog piece. Sometimes it's easier than even doing, I don't know, an Instagram post. So the tools are there to be able to make a podcast so easily, so quickly. And it's not just that the content's going to live on, but it's a fantastic way of networking. My podcast breakouts, which you can find on Spotify or Apple or Google, it's not only has been a great way to learn and to kind of share information, but I've been able to network with people that I may not have reached out to previously. So I think I'm with you. Podcasts are under.
Damn it! I missed the spot now. Okay, here we go. Yes,
I will
underrated.
get this at some point.
Absolutely, absolutely underrated for sure.
Underrated.
For
All
sure.
right, sweet. Next up, summertime.
Ooh, I mean, can summertime ever be underrated? No, it's the best time of the year. It really is. If you live in a country where there are 4 seasons,
Yes.
It's underrated.
Okay.
If you live in a country like I lived in, Singapore, for 21 years of my life, it is overrated.
Yes.
So I really think it really depends on, I mean, we're both in Europe, so
yeah.
I'm going to go with underrated, right?
Okay.
Like, I mean, I think so.
You love summertime. You're in Germany.
I love summertime. I love summertime because we have very little short window of it. So for me, it's underrated. I need to get the most out of it.
It makes sense.
For you, not so
it is overrated. For me, summertime. I live in Barcelona. We have summer. It's very long. I love warm weather. I love the beach. I love swimming. But what happens in Spain is summertime it is so crowded. It is a time when there's so much tourism. I prefer to go to the beach in now in March rather than July, August. In fact, I try to work in August because I don't want to be experiencing the summertime in August.
true.
It's terrible. So I'm going to take, but I think you're right.
In Singapore, it was year round.
It has a lot to do with
it was year round. Exactly. I think it has a lot to do with, I think, where you are and how that experience is.
100%. So all right. Next up, we got SEO, so search engine optimization. This is a big part of some people's digital marketing strategy. What do you think?
So underrated. So underrated. I think so underrated, especially so underrated by our industry, by the events industry. If you are an event professional, if you're an event agency, if you are a meetings hotel, if you are a venue, if you are a destination marketing your MICE services, invest in SEO. Honestly, invest in it because it is, again, it's a ninja. It's that hidden ninja of Pinterest and SEO. Think like a ninja troop forming here, right? But it is a silent, again, killer of marketing.
Yeah, I'm there with you. SEO is severely underrated. I think a lot of people in our industry, they don't understand it. They don't know where to start. There's so many ways that you can improve the SEO of your business and your brand. And I see very few people doing this, when at the end of the day, for us personally, a big portion of our inquiries at Acomo are coming from inquiries where people have found us on the first page of Google, which is pure search engine optimization. So I see it every day. I think that it's something that I like helping people with and helping them achieve and do it because nobody's doing it. It's not that hard to start. So I'm with you. Underrated, 100%. All right.
Awesome.
Next up, this is going to be...
Listen, So I'm gonna go with overrated.
All right.
I'm only going with overrated because to me it is about the content. Okay. And if your content is good and it is of value and it is engaging and you've got the right content pillars and parameters and you're consistent, you shouldn't need paid advertising to grow. However, a lot of times paid advertising is used specifically to promote something. So it really depends what your objectives and goals are, right? But I'm going to go off the bat with overrated.
Perfect. Yep. That makes sense. And I think you're totally right. Depending on what a person's strategy is, there's a good time to use paid advertising, and there's a bad time. In my case, I think it's underrated. I think, again, I don't see that many people in the industry doing paid advertising, whereas it should be a part of your marketing mix. I think it doesn't need to be the priority, perhaps, but I think it is worth investing in a little bit of paid advertising to get a little bit more exposure than you would get if you weren't doing organic, especially if you don't have a very big following or a lot of visibility at the beginning. It's a very easy way to get in front of people and get in front of people's eyeballs.
Yeah, I agree with this one point that you did mention on that is I do agree that, or at least you mentioned, it depends what you're spending that money on, right? And it's so important. For example, I know when I see someone's promoted a post on Instagram, I'm like, you know what I mean? Like someone's promoted it, I'm not gonna go out of my way. But if there's an event that is, coming up as a banner and that kind of thing, that's all sponsored ads as well. That's also paid advertising, and that might come up somewhere where I never thought it would, and I'd book in that event.
Exactly.
So in those cases, it would be relevant. So yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right. So we are up to 25 minutes. I'm going to throw one more up because this is a little bit, this one is a little bit, how would you say that? People are debating this at the moment. So let's talk about Zoom for a second. Let's talk about Zoom. So Zoom, everybody knows what Zoom is. Nobody knew what Zoom was 18 months ago.
Yeah.
We all know it. We all live it. We all see it. Is Zoom overrated or underrated?
I think Zoom is overrated.
Yes.
Just because I'm done with Zoom. I'm done. Plus, Zoom is not the only platform out there anymore that has the same functionalities. So it doesn't have to be a Zoom, people. It doesn't have to be. And explore your options is all I'm saying. It is, we had to use it because that's what the strongest one was. I still do use it. I'm not saying I don't use it. But to me, there's no hype about it. It's just become another tool that I use day to day, as opposed to something that's exciting and it should definitely be integrated and all of that. Like the hype is over for me. So it's overrated.
I'm with you. I got 100% overrated on Zoom. Zoom fatigue is real. We're all tired of Zoom. We were talking the other day that even now phone calls that we used to have, people are doing on Zoom. So I don't know. I'm starting to believe in this. Only Zoom if you have to Zoom. Otherwise, make a phone call and walk around. And the other thing, the alternatives. There's so many alternatives. We use StreamYard a lot for streaming. You don't have to use Zoom for your streaming needs anymore. So I'm with you. It's totally overrated. Totally overrated. So we went over. That was it. I hope that was fun. I had a good time. I'm sweating a little bit, but that
was awesome. Thank you, Jason. We should do more of these once in a while. I think it's great. We should have like a little, those of you who are watching, if there are certain things that you think, well, do they think it's overrated or underrated? What does the general population think? What could the event props community think? Drop it in the comments. Let us know. I'd love to hear from the event props community out there on what you want to know, if it's overrated or underrated, and we can get another one of these things done in April. That would be super exciting. It could be like an Easter special, for example.
Yeah. And if you guys disagree with anything that we rated or underrated, please leave it in the comments. Let us know, because I'm ready to debate about this. I'm ready to really disagree.
We are not your best friends. No, I'm kidding. No, it's true. Everyone has a different opinion, even me and Jason, right?
That's
On
right.
different things, and we have our reasons for doing so. But what I do enjoy about it, about doing these kinds of segments, is that it shows you different perspectives, and it allows us to understand why someone might think that way about something, and there is space for everyone.
Totally.
So thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Today, we are not going to be doing the Clubhouse. We are actually going to try to do Twitter Spaces. Is that correct?
Believe so. Let's give it a
Yeah.
shot.
So we're going to give it a shot. In the next couple of minutes, we're going to try and set up a Twitter Space and see how it works.
See if it's
And if you are
overrated.
on Twitter, join myself or Jason. Jason is at the Event Dad on Twitter, and I am Hot Hospitality on Twitter as well. And we're gonna see what happens, because it's all about experimentation and using the different platforms that are out there to see how we can connect with our event props community. And not everyone is on Clubhouse, so let's try out Twitter Spaces and see what it brings.
Cool.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.